Welcome to the Instant Trivia Podcast, episode 425, where we ask the best trivia on the internet. Let's get started. What novel by Geoffrey Household was about an attempt to kill Hitler? Rogue Mail. What do conifers use to hold seeds? Pine cones. What 2004 movie remake found Denzel Washington playing a role originated by Frank Sinatra in 1962? Answer: The Manchurian Candidate. Through which continent does the Crocodile River run? Africa. What art critic was influential in popularizing the work of Jackson Pollock? Answer: Clement Greenberg, a prominent art critic, is best remembered for his promotion of the abstract expressionist movement. Which Roman emperor's name meant little boots? Caligula. How many landlocked U.S. states are there? 27. What species are mingled to produce a hippocamp? Horse and fish. What was the first man-made insecticide? DDT. What TV show began with the words "Space, the Final Frontier"? Star Trek. Which of Henry VIII's wives was the only one to bear him a legitimate surviving son? Jane Seymour. What does a tegestologist collect? Beer coasters. Which state's name comes from the Chippewa word for large lake? Michigan. What Ernest Hemingway novel is set during the Spanish Civil War? For Whom the Bell Tolls. What was Eddie Money's career before becoming a musician? Police officer trainee. Deetra Flame was the lady in black who took 13 red roses to what actor's grave every year? Rudolph Valentino's. What two late 1950s Broadway musicals featured songs titled Maria? Answer: West Side Story and The Sound of Music. Wilhelm Röntgen won the first Nobel Prize in Physics for discovering what kind of radiation? X-ray. What was the Sanford and Son junkyard converted to when the two stars left the show? A residential hotel. What color M&M was retired to make way for blue M&Ms in 1995? Tan. Christmas Island is a territory of what country? Australia. In Shakespeare's Romeo and Julie, what is Romeo's surname? Montague. Most terms that help to identify volcanological events come from which language? Hawaiian. John Paul Jones was the bassist and keyboardist for what rock band? Led Zeppelin. In which country is the Great Sandy Desert located? Australia. Who wrote the book Northanger Abbey? Jane Austen. How many beans of coffee are needed to make an espresso? 42. What was the occupation of James Woods' character on the TV show Shark? Lawyer. In the early 1900s in the U.S., a well-dressed man who worked to seduce wealthy women in bars was called a what? Lounge lizard. What would a sommelier recommend to you? Wine. In the nursery rhyme Ladybird, Ladybird, why is the bug told to fly away home? Her house is on fire and her children are gone. Which film features the line, "I could have been a contender"? On the Waterfront. Ljubljana is the capital of which Central European country? Slovenia. In what city was the Diary of Anne Frank written? Amsterdam. What disease takes its name from medieval Italian words for bad air? Malaria. Who wrote the music for the holiday classic film White Christmas? Irving Berlin. Until 1792, Kentucky was part of which state? Virginia. Which bird is the national bird of Greece? Little owl. For what film did Meryl Streep win her first Oscar? Kramer versus Kramer. In what country was the last original Volkswagen Beetle produced? In July 2003. Mexico. What was the last opera composed by Benjamin Britten? Death in Venice. Who first recorded the song Last Christmas? Wham! In Shakespeare's Merchant of Venice, who was Shylock's wife? Leah? Who was the final act at Woodstock? Jimi Hendrix? What year was the first official soccer game played? 1863. What does alopecia refer to? Hair loss. On what thoroughfare does the Muffin Man live? Drury Lane. Who was Prime Minister of the United Kingdom from 1997 to 2007? Tony Blair. A light aircraft without an engine is called a what? Glider or a sailplane. In drop D tuning, what is the lowest string of a guitar tuned down to? D. That's the end of the show. Thanks for listening. Come back tomorrow for more exciting trivia.